is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
These words changed wrestling forever. One moment, a superstar is your hero, and the next, they're tearing your heart out. In WWE, these moments are the backbone of unforgettable rivalries, turning friends into enemies and leaving fans speechless. Today, we're counting down 15 of the most shocking heel turns in WWE history, from shattered friendships to brutal betrayals. These moments didn't just change careers, they changed the entire landscape of wrestling. The Rockers' friendship shatters. It's 1992, and the Rockers are dominating the WWE tag team scene. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty are flying high, wowing fans with their high-energy moves. But things aren't perfect. Their partnership starts to show cracks. They mess up in the ring, costing each other matches. Fans can feel the tension building. Then comes the barbershop segment. Michaels and Jannetty are there to patch things up. They hug it out, and for a moment, everything seems okay. The crowd breathes a sigh of relief. But then, bam! Michaels strikes out of nowhere. His super kick floors Jannetty like a bolt of lightning. The fans are shocked, but Michaels isn't done. In a moment that'll be replayed for years, Michaels grabs Jannetty and throws him through the barbershop window. Glass shatters everywhere. It's like a scene from an action movie. But this is real. The Rockers are no more, and the fans' hearts break along with that window. From the ashes of the Rockers, a new Shawn Michaels emerges. He's not the friendly, high-flying partner anymore. Now, he's the Heartbreak Kid. Cocky, arrogant, and out for himself. The aftermath? It's a tale of two very different paths. Michaels soars to the top of WWE. He becomes a superstar, winning world titles and headlining WrestleManias. Jannetty, on the other hand, struggles. His career stalls, never quite recovering from that shocking betrayal. In wrestling circles, being the Jannetty of a tag team becomes shorthand for the less successful partner. This moment changes WWE forever. It shows that sometimes the most shocking betrayals come from those closest to us. The Rockers split proves that in wrestling, just like in life, you never know what's coming next. And just when you thought you'd seen it all, the WWE delivered another betrayal that proved lightning can strike twice. Fast forward a decade, and Shawn Michaels is no stranger to heartbreak, but this time, the knife in his back would come from someone even closer. The game turns on the Heartbreak Kid. The WWE crowd is buzzing with excitement. Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, is back after a 4-year hiatus due to a back injury. It's like seeing your favorite superhero return from retirement, and fans can't wait to see what HBK will do next. Enter Triple H, Michaels' best friend and former D-Generation X partner. He's all smiles and support for his returning buddy. They're back together, cracking jokes and throwing out those famous DX chops. The fans are loving every minute of it. But something's off. There's a strange tension in the air, like the calm before a storm. Triple H is supportive, but there's a glint in his eye that makes you wonder what he's really thinking. In a shocking turn of events, he attacks Michaels with a pedigree.
Oh! What is this?
The thud echoes through the arena. This betrayal ignites one of the most intense rivalries in WWE history. It shows that even the strongest bonds can break when ambition takes over. And it reminds us that in wrestling, just like in life, you should always watch your back, even around your best friends. If betrayal from a best friend wasn't enough, Shawn Michaels found himself the target yet again, this time by someone who once idolized him. What started as admiration quickly turned into jealousy, culminating in one of the most violent betrayals ever caught on WWE cameras. Jericho's betrayal of his idol. Friendships can shatter in WWE, and the Jeritron 6000 is about to play a key role in one of wrestling's most shocking moments. Chris Jericho has always admired Shawn Michaels. When Jericho teams up with Michaels, it seems perfect. They're a great duo, impressing crowds with their skills. But things change. Jericho notices Michaels hogging the spotlight. This bothers Jericho, and his admiration turns sour. On the highlight reel, Jericho's talk show segment, the tension is clear as soon as Michaels enters the ring. Jericho's words get harsher, accusing Michaels of holding him back and always needing attention. The crowd watches, stunned by Jericho's outburst. Suddenly, Jericho snaps. He grabs Michaels and smashes his face into the Jeritron 6000 screen. The impact is brutal. The screen shatters, Michaels falls, and blood streams down his face. It's a shocking scene unfolding live. Jericho stands over Michaels, his face twisted in a chilling grin. It's as if he's unleashing something dark within himself. This betrayal ignites a fierce rivalry. Jericho, no longer content in Michaels' shadow, claims superiority. He says, "I was tired of being second best. I wanted to prove I was better." Michaels, still reeling, can barely comprehend the betrayal. "I never thought Chris would do this. I thought we were friends," he says, his voice filled with pain. This feud becomes deeply personal, centered on respect and shattered trust. As fans watch, they wonder if any friendship in wrestling is truly safe. But if you thought that was a wild turn, wait until we dive into a betrayal that turned the very foundation of WWE on its head. Stone Cold Steve Austin's alliance with the devil himself. Stone Cold's unholy alliance. It's WrestleMania X7, and Stone Cold Steve Austin is facing The Rock for the WWE Championship. These two titans are going at it like there's no tomorrow, throwing everything they've got at each other. Punches, kicks, signature moves, you name it, they're using it. But neither guy can get the upper hand. Suddenly, Vince McMahon, the chairman of WWE and Austin's longtime nemesis, appears at ringside. Austin looks confused, maybe even a little worried. Then something unthinkable happens. Austin asks McMahon for a steel chair. McMahon slides the chair into the ring, a sly grin on his face. What happens next is shocking. Austin unleashes chair shot after chair shot on The Rock. The sound echoes through the arena as the crowd watches in disbelief. The referee counts to 3. Austin wins. But at what cost? As if that wasn't enough, Austin and McMahon shake hands in the middle of the ring. Stone Cold, the man who built his career on defying authority, is now standing tall with the boss himself. The aftermath? Stone Cold becomes the corporate champion, everything he once fought against. Fans are left scratching their heads, wondering what just happened to their beer-swilling hero. This moment changes everything. Austin's turn isn't well received by fans at first. They've supported him as an anti-hero for years, and this feels like a betrayal. Some fans are angry, others are confused, but everyone is talking about it. Vince McMahon later said this turn was necessary to keep things fresh and unpredictable. But not everyone agrees. Even Austin himself later said he regretted the turn, feeling it went against everything his character stood for. In the end, this shocking moment reminds us that in the world of WWE, nothing is set in stone. Even the biggest rebel can shake hands with the devil if the price is right. It's a lesson in expecting the unexpected, because in wrestling, just like in life, anything can happen. The Hitman snaps. You think Stone Cold selling out was wild? Well, get ready for a wrestler so conflicted, he becomes 2 different people depending on which side of the border he's on. That's exactly what happens when Bret Hart decides to shake things up in 1997. Bret the Hitman Hart is a Canadian hero, loved by fans all over the world. But something's off. He's starting to feel like American fans don't appreciate him anymore. It's like being the star player on a team where the coach keeps benching you. Enter Stone Cold Steve Austin, the beer-drinking tough guy who's quickly becoming WWE's new favorite. Hart and Austin start a rivalry that heats up fast. Every time they face off, Hart's darker side comes out a little more. At WrestleMania 13, Hart and Austin have a match that changes everything. It's a submission match. No pinfalls, no countouts. The only way to win is to make your opponent give up. The match is brutal. Both men are bleeding, but neither one wants to quit. Hart eventually wins, but he doesn't stop there. He keeps attacking Austin even after the bell rings. Something strange starts to happen. The crowd begins to cheer for Austin instead of booing him. They're impressed by how tough he is. At the same time, they start turning on Hart. It's like watching a movie where the good guy and the bad guy switch places. In the weeks that follow, Hart gets more and more frustrated with American fans. He feels like they've betrayed him. Finally, Hart snaps. He forms a new group called the Hart Foundation. But here's the twist. He says he's still a hero in Canada, but a villain in the US. This makes Hart one of the most unique bad guys in WWE history. In Canada, fans still love him. They cheer for him and treat him like a national hero. But in the US, fans boo him out of the building. Hart later said about this time, "I've always thought that was one of the smarter storylines. I remember in some of those places like Montgomery, Alabama, and places like that, getting in my car to drive off after the show, and I've had hillbilly guys in trucks following me for miles, shaking their fists at me and trying to drive me off the road." This heel turn shows how complex wrestling characters can be. Hart isn't just a good guy or bad guy, he's both at the same time. In the end, Hart's turn proves that in wrestling, just like in real life, things aren't always black and white. But just when fans thought they'd seen it all, Hart's WWE journey would come to a controversial and unforgettable conclusion in a moment that forever changed professional wrestling, the Montreal Screwjob. The Montreal Screwjob is a moment that makes wrestling fans question everything they know about the sport. It's 1997, and Bret the Hitman Hart is the WWE champion. But there's a problem. He's leaving for WCW, WWE's biggest rival. Hart refuses to lose the title in his home country of Canada, proud of his heritage and loyal to his fans. Vince McMahon, the boss of WWE, is worried. He remembers when Alundra Blaze took the Women's Championship to WCW and threw it in the trash on live TV. McMahon doesn't want that to happen again, so he comes up with a secret plan. At Survivor Series in Montreal, Hart faces his longtime rival, Shawn Michaels. The match is intense, with both men giving it their all. Suddenly, Michaels locks Hart in his own signature move, the sharpshooter. But Hart doesn't give up. He's ready to break free. Then, out of nowhere, the bell rings. The match is over. Everyone looks confused. The referee hands the title to Michaels, who seems just as surprised as everyone else. Hart is furious. He spits right in McMahon's face. The truth comes out. McMahon had ordered the referee to end the match as soon as Michaels applied the sharpshooter, even though Hart never submitted. Hart is so angry he starts destroying equipment at ringside. He even writes WCW in the air, showing everyone where he's headed next. This moment changes WWE forever. McMahon, once just the announcer and owner, becomes a character on the show, the evil Mr. McMahon. This new character would go on to feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin, creating some of the most memorable moments in wrestling history. The Montreal Screwjob blurs the line between what's real and what's fake in wrestling. Fans still debate about it today, wondering how much was planned and how much was real. One thing's for sure, the wrestling world would never be the same again. Hollywood Hogan is born. While WWE deals with the Montreal Screwjob fallout, WCW cooks up a moment that will change wrestling history. Imagine the most beloved wrestler of all time suddenly becoming a villain. How would fans react? It's 1996 and Hulk Hogan is back in WCW as the good guy who tells kids to say their prayers and eat their vitamins. Meanwhile, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, known as the Outsiders, are stirring up trouble and hinting at a mysterious third person joining them. At Bash at the Beach, during a big six-man tag match, Hulk Hogan appears. The crowd goes wild, thinking he's there to save the day. But then something unbelievable happens. Hogan attacks Randy Savage with his famous leg drop. The crowd falls silent, stunned by what they're seeing. It's as if time stands still for a moment. Then Hogan starts talking. He's not the friendly Hulkster anymore. He's angry, mean, and joining the Outsiders. He calls their group the New World Order, or NWO for short. Just like that, Hulk Hogan transforms into Hollywood Hogan, a selfish villain. Fans are shocked and confused, but everyone is talking about it. This moment reshapes wrestling. The NWO takes over WCW, becoming both the coolest and most hated group. Wrestling's popularity soars, with millions tuning in weekly to see Hollywood Hogan and the NWO's next move. Eric Bischoff, WCW's boss at the time, later says, "We needed to do something that would shock the audience and change the game." They certainly did that. Hogan reflects, "I had to do something different. The fans were tired of the same old Hulk Hogan. Joining the NWO was a way to reinvent myself and stay relevant in the business." This shocking turn proves that in wrestling, just like in life, change can come unexpectedly. Even the biggest heroes can become villains, and sometimes that's exactly what captivates the audience. But as shocking as Hogan's transformation was, it wasn't the only moment in wrestling history where fans were blindsided by a hero's betrayal. The Rock sells out. Change can come when you least expect it, and in 1998, WWE fans are about to witness another shocking betrayal. The Rock is the rising star everyone's talking about, with his electrifying moves and catchy catchphrases. But there's a big problem. Vince McMahon. The WWE boss is doing everything he can to stop The Rock from becoming champion. At Survivor Series, The Rock faces Mankind in the finals of a tournament for the vacant WWE Championship. The match is intense, with both men giving it their all. The crowd is on the edge of their seats, not knowing who's going to come out on top. Suddenly, The Rock locks Mankind in the sharpshooter. It's a move made famous by Bret Hart, and it brings back memories of what happened in Montreal just a year ago. The crowd holds its breath, wondering what's going to happen next. The bell rings. McMahon is ordered to match the end, just like he did in Montreal. Everyone's confused. The Rock is handed the championship, but no one's sure what's going on. Then the truth comes out, and it's a shocker. The Rock has joined the corporation. The People's Champion has become the corporate champion. Fans are stunned. The Rock, who they thought was fighting for them, has turned his back on them. He starts wearing expensive suits, showing off his Rolex watch, and talking about how he's better than everyone else. It's a complete change from the People's Champion they thought they knew. This turn changes everything. The Rock becomes one of the most entertaining bad guys in WWE history. His new character is arrogant, funny, and totally full of himself. Fans love to hate him, and it sets up some of the most memorable feuds and matches in wrestling history. The Rock's heel turn shows how quickly things can change in WWE. 1 minute you're the hero, the next you're the villain. It's a reminder that in the world of professional wrestling, you should always expect the unexpected. Because just when you think you know what's going to happen, WWE throws you a curveball that changes everything. Eddie Guerrero's heartbreaking betrayal. WWE fans think they've seen it all, but they're about to witness a betrayal that makes The Rock's corporate sellout look like child's play. Eddie Guerrero is about to turn on his best friend, Rey Mysterio, and it's going to get ugly. Eddie and Rey are like two peas in a pod in the wrestling world. They've been friends for years, tag team partners, and crowd favorites. Everyone loves watching these high flyers team up, like seeing two best buddies having a blast. But something's off. Eddie starts eyeing Rey's mask differently. It's not just a cool accessory anymore. It represents something more to Eddie. During a tag team match, things get strange. Eddie doesn't tag Rey in when he's supposed to. Fans notice, and they're not happy. After the match, Eddie corners Rey backstage. He brings up their past and secrets they've kept. Then, one night in the ring, Eddie snaps. He attacks Rey out of nowhere, going after his mask. In Lucha Libre culture, this is a major violation. Eddie's moves are vicious, and fans have never seen him like this before. Eddie nearly rips the mask off, and the crowd is stunned. When it's over, Eddie stands tall, holding Rey's mask with a wild look in his eyes. This betrayal kicks off one of the most personal feuds in WWE history. Eddie keeps threatening to reveal Rey's secrets, aiming to hurt his former friend as much as possible. The story hits hard for many Latino fans, as masks in wrestling hold deep cultural significance. Eddie's actions aren't just breaking a friendship, they're disrespecting a tradition. This betrayal shows how quickly things can change in WWE. One day you're best friends, the next day you're bitter enemies. It reminds fans that in wrestling, you should never get too comfortable. Your closest ally might just become your worst nightmare. As Eddie shattered friendships, another WWE favorite would take a dark turn, transforming from the beloved animal to a cold, ruthless machine. Batista's unexpected dark turn. Betrayal in WWE isn't always about friendship. Sometimes it's about a wrestler turning their back on everything they once stood for. Batista's transformation from fan favorite to ruthless heel shows us the dark side of frustration in the wrestling world. For 4 years, Batista has been the good guy. Fans love him. He's like that friendly neighborhood cop everyone waves to. But something's not right. Batista keeps trying to win back the World Heavyweight Championship, but he just can't do it. The frustration is building up like a pressure cooker ready to explode. At Bragging Rights 2009, Batista faces Rey Mysterio. It's supposed to be a friendly match, like two buddies playing basketball in the driveway. They're both giving it their all, showing off their moves, but keeping things respectful. The crowd's enjoying it, thinking they're watching a good, clean fight between two of their favorites. Then, out of nowhere, Batista changes. He starts attacking Mysterio, but not in a normal wrestling way. This is different. It's brutal. Batista's using his power moves, but they're meaner, harder. It's like he's trying to break Mysterio instead of just beat him. The bell rings, but Batista doesn't stop. He grabs Mysterio and throws him into the barricade. The sound of the impact makes everyone wince. It's like watching a bully pick on the smallest kid in school, and no one can do anything to stop it. The fans can't believe what they're seeing. Their hero, the guy they've been cheering for years, has turned into someone they don't recognize. People in the crowd are covering their mouths in shock. Some are even turning away. They can't stand to watch their beloved Batista do this. When it's all over, Batista stands over Mysterio. Mysterio's not moving, like a toy that's been thrown around too much. And Batista? He's smiling. It's not a happy smile, though. It's cold, almost cruel. It's the kind of smile that makes you want to run and hide. This is just the beginning. Batista goes on to become one of WWE's top bad guys. He embraces his dark side, becoming the Animal in more than just name. It's like he finally let out a part of himself he's been hiding for years. Batista later said, "I felt like I was getting stale as a babyface, and I wanted to do something different." Well, he certainly did that. This turn shocked fans, but it also got them talking. Sometimes in wrestling, just like in life, the most interesting stories come from good guys gone bad. Brother versus brother, Matt Hardy's betrayal. The Hardy Boys story takes a shocking turn at the 2009 Royal Rumble. Jeff Hardy, the WWE champion, is in a fierce battle with Edge to keep his title. The match is intense, with both wrestlers giving it their all. Suddenly, Matt Hardy appears at ringside. The crowd cheers, thinking he's there to support his brother. But something's off. In a moment that leaves everyone stunned, Matt attacks Jeff with a steel chair. The sound of metal hitting flesh echoes through the arena. Edge seizes the opportunity, pins Jeff, and wins the championship. When the dust settles, Matt stands over his fallen brother with a look of disgust on his face. This betrayal kicks off one of the most bitter rivalries in WWE history. The Hardy Boys, once inseparable, now want to tear each other apart. It's not just about winning matches anymore. It's personal. The fans are heartbroken, seeing their beloved tag team shattered. Matt's actions show how quickly things can change in WWE. One minute you're on top of the world. The next, your own brother is trying to take you down. It's like watching a family photo being ripped in half. This moment reminds us that in wrestling, just like in life, nothing is certain. The Hardy Boys story goes from tag team glory to a tale of jealousy and betrayal. Jeff's success as WWE champion creates tension between the brothers. Matt's surprise attack at the Royal Rumble isn't just a turning point in their careers. It's a complete upheaval of their relationship. This rivalry becomes more than just another WWE storyline. It's a drama that hits close to home for many fans. The bond between brothers, once thought unbreakable, crumbles before their eyes. It's like watching your favorite childhood toy fall apart, leaving you with mixed feelings of nostalgia and disappointment. As the feud unfolds, fans are forced to choose sides. Do they stick with Jeff, the high-flying fan favorite, or do they sympathize with Matt, the overlooked older brother? It's a dilemma that mirrors real-life family conflicts, making it all the more engaging for the audience. CM Punk's pipe bomb detonates. CM Punk is about to drop a bombshell that will make you question everything you thought you knew about pro wrestling. CM Punk is fed up. He's been working hard in WWE, but he feels like he's going nowhere. So, he does something bold. He threatens to leave WWE and take the championship with him. Then comes the moment that changes everything. Punk grabs a microphone and starts talking. This isn't your usual wrestling promo. He's calling out the bosses, complaining about how WWE treats its wrestlers, and even mentioning other wrestling companies. The fans are shocked, unsure if this is real or part of the show. At Money in the Bank 2011, Punk does the unthinkable. He beats John Cena, WWE's golden boy, for the championship in his hometown of Chicago. The crowd goes wild. Punk walks out of the arena with the title, and everyone thinks he's leaving WWE as a hero. Months later, Punk comes back, but something's different. At Raw 1000, a big celebration episode, Punk attacks The Rock, one of the most popular wrestlers ever. Punk starts hanging out with Paul Heyman, a guy known for managing bad guys. He becomes meaner and more aggressive, constantly declaring he's the best in the world. Always expect the unexpected in WWE, because just when you think you know someone, they might surprise you in the biggest way possible. Owens destroys the Festival of Friendship. CM Punk's heartbreaking words are still echoing when Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho's friendship takes center stage. These unlikely pals have been ruling Raw with their antics, like a comedy duo that somehow got put in charge of the whole show. But things are about to go south. Jericho accidentally costs Owen his Universal Championship. To make up for it, he plans a Festival of Friendship. It's a big, silly celebration with all the trimmings, a magician, a painting, and even a statue. The crowd's loving it, and Owens seems to be enjoying himself too. Then comes the big moment. Jericho presents Owens with the List of KO, a play on his famous List of Jericho. But when Owens opens it, his name is the only one there. The mood shifts instantly. Without warning, Owens attacks. It's not your typical wrestling fight. It's vicious and personal. Owens is unleashing months of pent-up frustration on his former best friend. The crowd watches in shock as the festival turns ugly. The final blow is brutal. Owens powerbombs Jericho onto the edge of the stage. And just like that, their friendship is over, torn apart as viciously as Jericho's body on that stage. This betrayal kicks off a bitter rivalry between the former friends. It's personal now, and it all leads to a big showdown at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens later described the segment as a mix of humor and tension, designed to be shocking and impactful. And it certainly was. Fans still talk about this moment years later. A stark reminder that in WWE, friendships can turn on a dime. The Architect dismantles The Shield. The Shield, WWE's most dominant group in recent memory, is about to crumble before our eyes. For years, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins have been unstoppable as the hounds of justice, taking down anyone in their way. But something's not quite right. There are whispers backstage that not everything is perfect in the Shield. It's like when you hear rumors that your favorite band might be breaking up. You don't want to believe it, but you can't help wondering if it's true. The Shield faces off against Evolution, another powerful group led by Triple H. It's a big deal, like the final boss battle in a video game. Against all odds, the Shield comes out on top. They are standing tall, looking unbeatable. The next night on Raw, the Shield is in the ring together celebrating their victory. But then something unexpected happens. Seth Rollins, known as the Architect of the Shield, suddenly leaves the ring. The crowd's confused. Is something wrong? Rollins comes back with steel chairs. For a moment, it looks like he's arming his brothers for another fight. But then, in a shocking turn of events, Rollins attacks Roman Reigns from behind. The sound of the chair hitting Reigns' back echoes through the arena. Before anyone can react, Rollins turns on Dean Ambrose too, hitting him with the same brutal force. The crowd is stunned. The Shield, the group that seemed unbreakable, is falling apart right before their eyes. As Reigns and Ambrose lie beaten on the mat, Rollins stands tall with Triple H. The truth becomes clear. Rollins has joined the Authority, the very people the Shield was fighting against. In one night, the most dominant group in recent WWE history is destroyed. The Shield is no more, and wrestling will never be the same. Fans are left wondering what just happened and what it means for the future. The Tribal Chief emerges. Roman Reigns, WWE's golden boy, had been through it all. But when he returned at SummerSlam 2020, fans quickly realized that what they once knew about Roman Reigns had changed forever. Roman's been gone for months, leaving fans wondering. Then, out of nowhere, he shows up at SummerSlam. Everyone's surprised, but something feels different. The Universal Championship match between The Fiend and Braun Strowman just ended. These two giants are lying in the ring, exhausted. Suddenly, Roman Reigns appears. Fans are excited at first, thinking he's here to save the day. But that's not what happens. Roman attacks both The Fiend and Strowman without warning. This isn't a normal wrestling attack. It's brutal. Roman uses a steel chair, hitting them over and over. The fans can't believe their eyes. This isn't the Roman Reigns they know. The old Roman was tough, but played by the rules. This new Roman doesn't care about rules. He's here to hurt people. Then Paul Heyman shows up. That's right, Brock Lesnar's former manager. Everyone's stunned. The announcers are speechless. The wrestling world has been turned upside down in just a few minutes. When it's all over, Roman stands tall in the ring. He's not smiling or playing to the crowd. He looks cold and calculating, like he's already planning his next move. This is the birth of the Tribal Chief. Roman Reigns is now more than just a wrestler. He's a dominant force in WWE, ready to take over. From this moment on, WWE is Roman's world. Everyone else better watch their backs, because the Tribal Chief is always watching, always planning his next move.